GTA 6 leaks yet again. So this time from Tez 2, he was able to go in the code and data mine two key phrases in here. Now the phrases are feature complete and content complete. That means the UI is done and the game is complete and playable. If I'm a shareholder, I'm like, hey, it's been 10 years. What's the development status on GTA 6? Are you guys going to announce something soon? How far are you in development?
I'm not sure if you've heard what's happened with GTA 5 recently, but it's just like infested with hackers at this point. And like there are people being banned. So there are like specific hackers that go into servers and they'll give you an infinite money glitch. And as soon as you buy anything, the server, like you're banned from GTA 5.
What?
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Player versus Podcast. My name is Dalton, also known as Esports Center. I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Daniel, also known as Rapid Reacts. We're about to get into all of the hottest gaming news. It's been a while, but let's get to it.
It's been a long time, but we're going to be consistent. We're holding to it.
Yes.
Nude podcast every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. We're going to hold to that. Trust us.
Yes, weekly. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's get into it.
We're going to kick it off right now. Anything new with you, Dalton?
Nothing crazy with me, but I do want to give you a shout out. This week, you got verified on TikTok, which is absolutely amazing. So congratulations to you. You've been absolutely crushing it, and it's well deserved.
Thank you.
But now you're the big man in town. You're the verified guy here.
It's a complete surprise. It took me by shock. I was telling you the story off camera, but just for everybody who knows, we have the TikTok channel, which is where I post all the TikToks from this podcast, and I post it, I jump on my account, and then I'll comment, kind of push engagement, little hack-free creators out there. And as I'm commenting and I send that comment away, I noticed a check mark, and I was like, this has to be a bug. There's no way. Nobody told me I was verified. There's no freaking way. I go to my profile, look at my name, and I'm like, there's a blue check mark there. And then a few minutes later, get the announcement from TikTok themselves that, hey, congratulations, you're verified. Completely shocked. I think it was mostly due to me working with TikTok directly on that gaming ambassador creator program thing. So shout out.
Dude, you're in the TikTok newsletter like weekly. Like this is so well deserved. Like you've been absolutely crushing it, like I said.
Yeah, it's awesome. Shout out to Kai, who is my TikTok rep, who helped make it happen. You know, usually you need a whole lot of things to get verified on TikTok, and she was able to push it through with just that. So shout out to her. Super happy about it. I'm still in disbelief.
You know what that means, though?
What?
In terms of brand deals, you get to charge what they call the blue check tax.
The blue check tax. You hear that, brands? No more lowballing us.
All right, man. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Huge. Again, well deserved.
GTA 6 leaks.
Yep.
Yet again. So this time from Tez 2. And this is kind of a little bit old. I don't know if he ever mentioned this in the initial leak, but he got this from those leaked gameplay videos that came out a few months ago that me and you both got copyright strikes for.
Yeah.
But he was able to go in the code and data mine two key phrases in here. Now, the phrases are feature complete and content complete. And from what developers are saying, who don't work at Rockstar, obviously, that means the UI is done and the game is complete and playable, and it could be at the last phase of development, which is bug fixes and testing and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, and polishing, the most important thing, especially the graphics. Again, those are the last things to be worked on. So this kind of
it's approaching final stage.
Yeah, it's like in the final stage, and this lines up with the rumors of a 2023 reveal. When? I don't know. I every day I go on Twitter, people are like, reveal today. I don't know. And then a 2024 release. I'm not gonna hold my breath for a 2023 release. You know, I said on my TikTok, Dalton, you said yours too. We both are in line. This is probably going to be 2024, but it could be announced this year.
I mean, maybe even an announcement in 2024. As much as I'm so hopeful that we actually see something from it this year that's official from Rockstar. Yeah. The internet will go crazy. Everything will be insane for at least a week. But I will say I'm hoping that we at least get the game in 2024.
Yeah. Dude, it's been 10 years?
I've heard
since
it has been 10
GTA
years.
5?
I've heard rumors. Rockstar has, I think, their earnings call coming up this week.
Yeah.
So we could hear more about a possible GTA 6 because they'll be talking about fiscal year 2024, which aligns with where we're hearing for GTA 6.
Or we could get the PR mumbo jumbo of like, you'll hear about it soon. Don't worry. And then we're just waiting in the wings every day.
Yeah, but again, they really haven't acknowledged any progress of the game.
Yeah.
It's been zero dark 30 in that sense.
Yeah, if I'm a shareholder, I'm like, hey, it's been 10 years. What's the development status on GTA 6? Are you guys going to announce something soon? How far are you in development? So I'm sure those questions are going to come up. I hope they're going to come up. No.
If we got it within the month, I don't think it would be a better time because of I'm not sure if you've heard what's happened with GTA 5 recently, but it's just like infested with hackers at this point. And like there are people being banned. So there are like specific hackers that go into servers and they'll give you an infinite money glitch. And as soon as you buy anything, the server like you're banned from GTA 5.
What?
Yeah, it's
Jeez.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I were Rockstar, I wouldn't really like I would worry about it because that's your like bread and butter. That's the second best selling game of all time.
Yeah.
But I would also be like, hey, we're working on GTA 6. It'll be out next year.
Dude,
Just hold on.
honestly, the lack of urgency there tells me that they're just full on GTA 6 now. Like they're like,
Yeah.
look, we're not going to bother going back fixing what's going on with GTA 5. They abandoned Red Dead 2 online a long time ago. It seems like they're already all in on GTA 6 and getting ready to ship that with a whole new GTA Online, I'm assuming, and a whole new shark card system. So, yeah,
Are
it's
you worried that we're our expectations are too high for GTA 6?
if anything, I think they're lower now after the leaks because people are
Really?
bashing the graphics and shit. Like they don't understand that graphics are the last thing to be worked on. So like I felt like when those leaks came out, the hype kind of died a little bit. Like the hype was over the
Mm,
moon. Don't get me wrong, I'm still excited as hell for this game. I'm sure there's a ton of people
yeah.
like me excited for this, but there is that chatter online about the graphics not being that great and they don't understand how game development works. And well, some people don't like Vice City being, where it's set. And I think once this game gets revealed, like once it gets its first proper trailer, the hype is gonna go right back up to like just peak levels. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
Rockstar,
GTA
here's the thing you could say about Rockstar: they always deliver, right? They're
No,
all
I was going to say the same
yeah,
thing.
they always deliver, but have been lacking on the support post launch on their games. So is that going to be another narrative with GTA 6 of that online getting abandoned? I don't think so because it makes too much money, but we'll see.
I would argue that when GTA 5 released, live service games weren't very popular.
Yeah.
It was 2013. It was
Hmm.
still a
They're still new.
you release the game and everything's polished at that point.
Yeah.
Now we're in an era where you release the game and there are so many bug fixes that you do
Yeah.
afterwards. But I think Rockstar is a very special example because of their years and years of experience. Their tenure essentially of open world games.
Yep.
This should not be a cyberpunk issue
Yeah.
because of how much experience they have with it. It's not like they're building a new
Hmm.
series. This is a highly anticipated title.
Yep.
I am a little worried though that we're not going to see as many innovative features.
Yeah.
I don't want it to feel like GTA 5.
Same here. I don't. And like,
Upgraded graphics would be great,
yeah.
and I think that's expected, but we need some new features.
Yeah.
We need something that's like, wow, this is better than any other open world game I've ever played.
And I want to see what they do with Vice City, right? Because for me, the whole appeal with Vice City was the old game set in the 80s. Like when you get into the 80s Vice City and you get into like the Scarface era, it gets really interesting. But when you get to modern day Vice City, is that going to be interesting enough? That's
Isn't that just a Miami setting?
yeah, like Miami setting or whatever. Like maybe it'll be fine. And then there are the rumors, and it's still just rumors of new cities being introduced every year. So like eventually through
Yeah.
GTA Online, they're going to introduce Liberty City. They're going to introduce San Andreas. So if they're going to go full live service with this game, and it's going to be like a 10-year thing, and every year there's a new city, that's hype. And I'm fine. And I'm
Yeah.
fine with starting with Vice City.
I think about it almost like Fortnite, where they get a new map every season or every
Yeah,
chapter. You know what I mean? There's a possibility that if something like that happens, it is a rotation where it's like you got Vice City for 6 months, and then you got San Andreas for 6 months, and then you go to this new place and that new place, and they're adding all these different places.
yeah.
But it's not like you would expand. It could expand it almost into like a world style, but I would assume that it's just one specific map at a
The
time.
one thing I hope as the single player guy, the single player guy of this podcast is that there's single player support like this, right? When there's a new city introduced, like you get the game a year later, you get to go play San Andreas. I hope that's not just tied to GTA Online. There's actually going to be story content you could play single player in San Andreas and you could go to that world and everything like that. That's what I hope as the single player
Here's a
guy.
question I got for you. As a single player guy, do you justify paying for campaign DLC?
You know what? I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite. I usually don't. I usually don't buy any DLCs ever, no matter how good I hear
Yeah.
they are. I don't know what it is, but like for me, once I'm a huge like trophy hunter on PlayStation. I like to platinum every game I play, right? or
Yeah.
for the Xbox people out there, get all the achievements in the game. Um, so when I beat,
Surprised you know that
yeah,
reference.
so when I beat a game, I'm a PlayStation meat writer, but
Yep.
when I when I buy a game, I beat it, right? And then I platinum it, so I'm playing it to death already. And then I'm
Yeah.
kind of just done with it. But
Fair.
if 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 they do this with GTA, where it's like, okay, every year San Andreas comes out, a whole slew of a bunch of new single player missions, like that would entice me to go back. Because typical DLCs where it's just, hey, here's a couple new story missions and a couple new weapons, that won't move the needle for me. But that would move the needle.
Let's say they charge you the full price of the original game, $70 again and again every time.
It would have to have enough meat there. Not besides just being able to play in the new city, it would have to be like 20 new missions. So like 30 or 40 hours of gameplay at least every year. If you're adding that much content, then that value's
Yeah,
there to justify that $70, you know?
that's fair. I mean, I'm kind of comparing it in my head to what Call of Duty is rumored to be doing
Yeah.
this coming year, right? To where they're going to be essentially pushing DLC to rumored DMZ as well as campaign DLC,
Yeah.
right? So is it justified to spend another $70 on a game that you already have to get DLC in there? I think that we'll learn a lot this year from Call of Duty
Yeah.
if that's the case. But I could see a lot of people actually spending more money on GTA than any other game if they're going
Oh,
to have DLC on
100%.
there. And it's a new map. Imagine
They
that.
proved it with shark cards and everything, and
It's
people
true.
buying every new port of the game, every new generation. Like it's been since PS3, right? And Xbox 360.
Yeah,
It's been on that generation. It's been on the Xbox One, PS4 generation. It's been on this generation. It's been on PC. Surprised it's not on Switch, but I'm not surprised at the same time. But I'm like, it's just like this.
two key features that we need to see though: cross-play and cross
Oh,
progression.
definitely,
I
100%.
think are standards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would like to get your take though, also on GTA 5. Should there be any transfer over to GTA 6?
Mm,
Is there anything that like people have spent a lot of money on GTA 5, but
yeah.
also a lot of hackers in there that have like
So
essentially boosted
this
accounts?
would be a better question for you because I didn't play GTA Online. So, like, if there's stuff from GTA Online that you would want to carry over to GTA 6, I can't speak to that. For GTA 5, that story, the single player, you played through it and it was done. So, like, maybe a couple
Yeah.
cameos would be cool when they introduce San Andreas again. Like, that's the only thing.
I think story wise,
Yeah,
cameos make
yeah,
sense.
cameos.
If
That's
I'm
it.
thinking about online, maybe some legacy
Yeah,
items. Maybe it's like you get special clothing or a special car, or only players that completed this mission in GTA
yeah.
5 could then get this apartment
See,
or whatever it may
I'm
be.
not gonna hold my breath for like you being able to carry your money over and all your
Oh
items
no,
over
no,
from
no.
game to game. I think people, if they think that's gonna happen, I think you're gonna be let down by GTA
Yeah,
6's online because they're not gonna just like let you start off that game having millions of dollars, having mansions and shit already, right? Everybody has to
true.
have a fresh start because it's a new iteration of the game. So I would keep your expectations in check and just know you're probably not gonna get to keep all that cash you got playing.
I think going back
Yeah,
to the original question, I think that the community's expectations are a little bit out there.
yeah,
I think that again, you got to be able to understand like what can we do with gaming nowadays, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of innovation.
yeah,
It's more so of improving on graphics,
yeah.
and I mean we can get some photorealism, like we could get some crazy good looking graphics,
And
but again, I don't think that really is going to satisfy the community at this point.
the interesting story to me with GTA 6 is this is missing one of the original Hauser brothers, right? He wasn't
Yeah,
part of this. Maybe he was part of the script process and wrote the game before he left, but he's no longer part of this. And then this is also in the wake of the whole, crunch culture and Rockstar really dialing it back, making people work less weeks. So is that going to affect the game in any way? Or have we just seen the effect already by this game still not being out 10 years later after GTA 5? Maybe we're already seeing the ramifications of that. The only thing with like, the other Hauser brother not being there is like, that's a little bit of a worry to me because you said like there has to be innovation, and usually Rockstar with every game innovates.
true.
Every game
Yep,
they innovate. They're the king.
and
They're the king innovators.
I
But now that one of the key pillars is gone, is it going to be different?
I would argue that that's the reason why it's taken 10 plus
Yeah.
years to get GTA 6 is innovation and the lack of.
Yeah.
I think that they struggled for a long time to think, what can we do differently?
And every year,
Think about it.
yeah, every year.
Their game in 2013
Mhm.
stands up to almost every game being released in 2022, 2023.
And every
That's
yeah,
insane.
every year the leaks and rumors seem to be different. So it seemed like they
Yes,
pivoted on a lot of ideas they had because maybe,
absolutely.
hey, this is a little too ambitious, right? Because originally the rumors I saw, the game was going to launch with like 3 cities already. Now,
Yep, I saw
now
that
it's
too.
like launching with one, and then the rest are being added over time. So thankfully they're still keeping that idea, but they're not as ambitious as they were in the past with like Red Dead 2. And that's mostly due to the whole crunch culture, you know? So like
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see. So we'll move on now to another exciting leak. Now this one I'm all about because you know I'm the single player guy and the Marvel guy. Very excited for Marvel's Wolverine, and we just got a leak that is music to my ears and delivering everything I wanted out of this game. So one, it's rated M for mature. Two, it's gonna
Yes.
have dismemberment, cut off limbs, cut off heads, blood gore, you name it. This will be the most violent Marvel game in recent years, probably since the last Wolverine game that was tied to X-Men Origins Wolverine, which like at the time when that game launched was crap, but now it's kind of had this cult following. People love the game now. And the most shocking piece of this is that it's targeting a late 2024 release, just 1 year after Spider-Man 2. What are they doing over there in Insomniac to pump out games this freaking quick, man? Like, it's wild.
It's called support
Yeah.
from a company that can actually handle it. I mean, it's amazing to see. Sony's done a great job, partnered with Insomniac, and Spider-Man 2, as long as all goes to plan, should be coming out this
Yeah.
year. I think initially when we saw Wolverine, it was supposed to be a 2023 release, or like that was like the rumor, right?
No, it was always out there because when they announced it, it was like it was just started development, right?
Oh,
It
okay,
just
okay.
started. So people were like, oh, this is like 2025, 2026, maybe. So 2024 is kind of, even though it's late, it's a little
Yeah.
shocking to me. That seems early, but it's like, especially, oh,
I,
one of the other things I forgot is that this is going to be a semi-open world, wide linear game like God of War, which you're going to experience pretty soon in your single player
yes,
playthrough.
yes.
We'll talk about later in the pod, but yeah, it's like it's not fully open world, but it is semi-open world. So this is a big game, and it's like the turnaround on this has been pretty quick. And I know it's a separate team. They have multiple teams there at Insomniac working at, one team's working on Spider-Man 2, the other team's working on Wolverine. But yeah, it's just crazy how quick these guys could pump out games. They pumped out Ratchet and Clank and Miles Morales and Spider-Man within a couple years span. And now 1 year is going to separate Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. It's just nuts.
What I love about Insomniac is they're pushing out variety, but also quality.
Yeah.
Like the games you just listed, all very different
Yeah.
and different art styles and different graphics and different requirements and different stories. Like it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
I think a couple things that surprised me about Wolverine, I think M for Mature is like the most surprising.
Yeah.
The release window seems appropriate. I mean, I think that it's ambitious for sure. I think that we could see some delays possibly into
Yeah, I could
2025
easily
if
see
they do confirm
yeah,
it.
I can easily see this to slip to like Q1 2025. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's
No,
yeah.
I wouldn't be too upset about that. I don't want a Wolverine game though that just feels like a hack and
Yeah.
slash. You know what I mean? Because when I think of Wolverine, that's kind of what I'm envisioning. Because with Spider-Man, it's great because you have the aspect of like being able to web sling through the city. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
With Wolverine, what is it that they're going to do that makes it repeatable or makes the open world
Yeah.
enjoyable? You know what I mean?
The
Um,
interesting thing I
yeah, I would
saw
love to hear like what you think is going to happen.
so it's interesting thing I saw when I made the TikTok on this and I was looking through the comments is that people were actually disappointed by the fact it wasn't open world. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what could you do in an open world Wolverine game? Because like he doesn't maneuver like Spider-Man. He doesn't have web slinging to get through, and you know what I mean. He doesn't fly. Like he's on his feet and he has his claws. And like I don't want to play an open world game like that. So when I heard that this is gonna
Yeah,
go for the God of War style, I was ecstatic because it's mostly a linear game. You're going from point A to point B. It's gonna feel slightly open, but it's not open world by any means. And I think that is the perfect fit and the perfect decision for this game. And literally all these leaks are just like kind of too good to be true, but they're coming from trusted sources from Jeff Grubb, who
yeah.
knows his shit. So it's just like, this is exciting as a fan of Marvel and as a fan of Wolverine. Like, this is the Wolverine game we wanted, and I did not want this to be open world. So I'm gonna have to disagree with some of you, though. Some of those. God damn it, some of you out there.
I think the issue with open world games is
Uh,
become they become essentially simulators for whatever
yeah,
the driver is, whether GTA with a driving simulator or Red Dead with a horse riding
yeah,
simulator or a walking simulator. There's just like a lot of like travel is the biggest issue with open world games, and I think that's why Spider-Man was so fun being like semi open
yeah.
world, like because web sling is so unique to Spider-Man. Like there's a reason to just go back and
Yeah,
chill.
and it's like people make the argument like, well, you could put him on his motorcycle and he could get around the open world like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but like for me, I'm more about verticality in open world games, right? And there's no way for
Yeah.
him to get really vertical besides maybe clawing his way up a building or whatever. But just like, I don't know, open world, the whole open world design only fits certain games for me, and I don't think it fits Wolverine at all. I think this is the perfect decision.
Interesting. Yeah,
So
I'm with it.
cool. You want to talk about the Titanfall Apex stuff? This is
Yeah.
sad, man. I'm heartbroken.
It is really sad. So essentially, what was going to be Titanfall 3, it's not Titanfall 3. The game was called Titanfall Legends, actually,
Yeah.
a very unique name. A crossover between Apex and Titanfall. You would play as, I think it was Blisk from Titanfall,
Mhm.
and you would be playing alongside BT from Titanfall 2. And then you would work with different legends from Apex Legends and use their powers to go across the story.
Yeah.
And Respawn had been working on this for sounds like at least a couple of years. But the head developer ended up leaving in January.
Mhm.
And EA was like, we're not going to go and keep pushing this game. So we're canceling the whole thing.
Dude, I am so bummed out about this. Like, you
Yeah.
know me, I'm one of the biggest Titanfall fans, and Titanfall 2's campaign, I'm just gonna say it, probably the best campaign in any first-person shooter like ever. One of the best.
Really?
I'm not gonna say it's better than the Halos and everything else out there, but like it was incredible. That campaign was stellar, and everybody still remembers it to this day. It's just goaded. And then of course the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I don't know if this game was gonna have multiplayer. It sounded like it was probably just a
No, it
single
was
player
a
thing.
single player only.
Yeah.
But again, like you were going to be able to feel it was very Titanfall esque.
Yeah.
There were so many features and so many characters you would get to play with Titanfall again,
Yeah.
and then also have the same movement. There was wall
Yeah.
running. There was. I would argue that Titanfall had some of the best movement of any FPS
Oh,
game ever.
100%. Like, dude, the only reason the last two Titanfall games failed from a sales perspective, because they didn't fail critically, they were adored, is because they sandwiched them in between fucking Call of Duties and Battlefield games. EA does not know the perfect timing to release a game, man.
No,
It
they were trying to fight with the wrong crowd,
yeah,
and at that time, battle royales weren't popular. You know what I mean? So that's when like Apex came to kind of take over that
yeah.
place. And I don't think we will ever get Titanfall 3. And with this game being canceled, we may never see any Titanfall content moving forward.
EA, let me give you some advice. If you do make Titanfall 3 one day, please do. Okay. Release it
It's not
in
going to happen.
February or March. All the big first person shooters to this day still come out in November and October. Okay. February and March are now peak months in gaming. You see it this year with all the insane games coming out like Hogwarts Legacy and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It's a great time to release a game. So please, if you make another Titanfall game, which I hope you do, release it in March. For the love of God, do not sandwich it in between Call of Duty, blah, 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 and Battlefield, blah, blah, blah. Again, don't ever do that.
There is only one reason why I think that EA would make a Titanfall 3, and that is because they're focusing on single player games now.
Yeah.
But dropping this game kind of throws that theory out the
Yeah,
window
yeah,
because
I don't know if I think you made a video on it too. I just made a video on this that like EA is becoming a single player game publisher, right? Like you
yeah,
look at all the games they have coming out and had come out with the, Mass Effect trilogy, Dead Space, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and then upcoming with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and all the single player games that have come out, they're kind of like a single player publisher, but then like they canceled that. And I'm like, that would have been your biggest single player game. People are clamoring for
yep.
Titanfall. Like the only way this makes sense is if they're like, why don't we just make this a mode instead of a game in Apex Legends and add wall running and Titans to that game like people have been asking for fucking ages. You know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah.
been begging, and I'm not an Apex player that plays every day. Maybe they don't want that, but I've been begging for wall running and Titans in this game, or at least a mode that has that because I miss it so much, you know?
Yeah. I mean, in this Titanfall Legends game, from what I heard, they were playing along the storyline of that Titans were now retired and treated almost like we treat classic cars today,
Yeah.
like being restored, being remembered, stuff like that. So I don't even think that Titans were supposed to be a big part of Titanfall Legend
Yeah.
or whatever the game was
That
called. Yeah,
see, this could have that could have worked though, because like I'm all about slow burn storytelling, right? So if you
yeah,
imagine this game, you're playing through, you're getting powers from these Apex Legends as you're playing through this incredible story. You get to this point where you find BT, who's essentially like a scrapped car or whatever, like you're saying, right?
yeah, yeah.
And then you find something late in the game to restore his energy and his power. And in the final third of the game, you're in the Titan, shit like that. Like that building and slow burn could have told an incredible story, I think.
I think it would have been more like a Transformers story.
Yeah.
Rebuilding Bumblebee, and then you go and do your missions with
Yeah.
Bumblebee.
100%. I'm bummed about this, man. Like I've been wanting more Titanfall forever. Now my last hope is they add him in Apex one day, which
Won't
I'm not gonna
happen
hold. Yeah, I'm
because
not.
EA doesn't seem to care about
Yeah,
Apex
they're
Legends.
banning it
I've
completely.
had this rant before, but I'm just like, what are we doing? You were literally at the top of the world last year or in 2021 with Apex Legends, and now it feels like you don't care.
Yeah.
What, Respawn can't work on multiple games at one time? I get that you have Jedi Survivor coming out,
Yep.
but think about the game that made you billions of dollars.
Yeah. It's
What are we doing here? It just feels like a cash grab. All you care about is the skins now. Fix the issues. But there are also maybe the cancellation of Titanfall Legends and the cancellation of Apex Legends Mobile means that they're going to push devs back to Apex to be able to fix those things,
we'll see.
to be able to work on the cross progression we've been wanting for 4 years. Actually, as of today, like February 4th, this is the 4-year anniversary of the Apex Legends release.
Yeah.
It's
What a way
crazy.
to fucking celebrate it, right? Just kind of just
Yeah.
abandon the game completely, cancel the mobile game. Like that leads us into the next topic of EA's downfall. So I'll let you rant about that because I know you've like. I mean, we've both been upset about this, but it's just
Yeah. EA struggled in 2022, and that was clear. And a lot of developers are struggling right now, like Ubisoft. But EA took a massive hit and decided that they're going to close down Apex Legends Mobile after only making $40 million since launch. It launched May 2022, so less than a year out, and 40 million wasn't enough.
I don't.
They're all
Just to jump in real quick, how's $40 million a failure? I don't like. That's just seems like a lot, you know. But I guess in mobile game terms, maybe it's not. I don't.
when Call of Duty Mobile first released, I believe it within the first 2 months they broke $40 million.
Okay, well, I guess yeah. If you're
When
comparing
you
it,
compare them,
yeah,
yeah, when you compare the two, and that's your competition,
yeah.
it's tough. And when you have to keep spending money to be able to maintain the quality, there comes a time, and that's exactly what happened. They're saying that they're stopping development on the game and they're shutting down servers because they couldn't keep up with the quality,
Yeah.
and they want to be able to maintain that. Um, Anybody that purchased anything with an Apex Legends mobile is not getting a refund, and they are not getting anything cross progression wise to their PC console
Which
account.
sucks because
I'm
like I didn't play it, but I seen it on Twitter that there was a lot of like really cool outfits or characters.
Dude,
There's
I would argue that Apex Mobile had better
yeah,
skins,
and I'm
had way better
and
skins than like the console
none of that's
version.
making its way to the core game. Like that's seems
No,
like waste, you know?
no. On top of this, EA is also canceling Battlefield Mobile. They're in fact shutting down that Battlefield, the studio that was working on Battlefield
Now
Mobile.
that one never came out, right? That was still in development.
No,
Okay.
I believe it was in play testing.
Mhm. Okay.
I might be wrong, but essentially they're biting it in the butt. Maybe they realize that mobile games really aren't that profitable.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that they do have is Plants vs Zombies being a mobile game, but that's been around for so long that's already been established. Like, if you're a player of that, then I don't think you should worry. But anybody else, like, I don't see EA getting back to the mobile game space.
Yeah, I think they're probably just trying to get away from that right now. Like I think despite the Titanfall cancellation, maybe they are really just pivoting into what works, and that's the single player games right now. You know,
Yeah.
it's their bread and butter lately, and it's hypocritical because like years ago they were, they said single player games are dead. They even mocked people who played them with that Twitter post that they got a lot of heat for, saying like, she's a 10 but she plays single player games. But now like their whole bread and butter is single player games, and it's
Yeah.
just like it's crazy to see that turnaround, like how the turntables.
How the turntables have turned, as Michael Scott once
Yeah.
said. But yeah, like we said, they're also abandoning Apex Legends, or at least it feels like as of right now.
Hmm.
They are completely shifting away from this multiplayer style. They lost FIFA.
Yeah.
FIFA will not be partnered with EA as of this year.
Yeah.
Madden is in shambles. It's the same game reskinned every year. What else? Jedi Survivor. That got delayed. Now, a lot of people aren't worried about the delay,
Hmm.
but I'm a little worried because if I were an investor or I'm looking at EA and looking at the confidence that I have within their development, and you're canceling and doing all these things and losing money,
Yeah.
and your one saving grace for Q1 is Jedi Survivor, and you push it 6 weeks back, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the difference between, in this case, Q1 and Q2, which means there could be further delays.
Yeah. And it's just, and then there's like that whole lack of communication. We haven't had an EA event in how long now? Like easily over a year. And that's
Yeah.
abnormal. They always like talking about what they got going on, even if it's just a sports game. So it's just like they've had no communication with the fan base, but at the same time have been releasing some quality stuff. I heard Need for Speed Unbound was great. Dead
Yeah.
Space remake, of course, was great. Mass
Yeah.
Effect trilogy when that came out was great. So like they're delivering the great titles, but like, yeah, it's just I feel like I said this before. My theory is that they're eventually gonna sell at one point. You know what I mean? And I still think that's going to happen. I don't know to who, but I feel like they're gonna get
I
acquired,
find
or
it
they're just
I
gonna.
find it almost ironic that we've got Activision Blizzard
Mhm.
about to be acquired, or a pending deal with Microsoft to be acquired.
Yeah,
And everybody's against that. But all these other companies that need to be acquired, like Ubisoft and EA, can't be acquired because there's so much money involved within that deal.
yeah, and it's like people want to keep saying like Sony should buy him. Sony should buy him. Like Sony doesn't have Microsoft money, so it's not that easy for Sony to go out
Mm,
and buy. Like they have a lot of money, but they don't have Microsoft money. Like they could
yeah.
afford Ubisoft because I think that like last year they were valued at like 6 billion. So if
Well,
they wanted to, they could buy Ubisoft. EA, I feel like is going to have an Activision price tag, and Sony could definitely not afford that. You know what I mean?
no, I don't think you're going to see either publisher, be Ubisoft or EA, be bailed out,
Yeah,
because if Sony were to buy them, it boosts Microsoft's
argument. Yeah,
case for Activision Blizzard. Microsoft can't buy them because they're already in a lawsuit about their first acquisition,
yeah,
and Nintendo's not going to buy them. And I don't see them like selling out to a company like Comcast or Xfinity or whatever they're called now,
yeah.
or NBC or CBS or whoever it
I
is.
think the only thing that happens if shit hits the fan, we see Ubisoft and EA do what Square Enix did, which is like sell off studios, sell off IP, right? And that could be good too. So because then Sony could get in there, they could get the Titanfall IP, or maybe they could buy Respawn outright. You know what I mean? Like Respawn would be a lot less expensive than the whole of EA. That's a
Yeah,
that
but that's EA. That's what EA's made of now.
yeah,
EA's best and pretty much only
is
studio now
Respawn.
is Respawn.
Which, fun fact, former developers of the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, for those who still don't know. But yeah, it's wild, man. EA's like,
EA is a legendary
yeah,
developer.
they are. They've been around for a while, and like they got a lot of shit back in the day for microtransactions and all the scummy practices they had. But
No, that was EA. The
oh,
EA in general,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think, is the one that has been hit with
yeah,
that.
yes.
Respawn
No, not
Respawn
yeah,
has microtransactions because they're a part of EA, but I would argue that they have the most polished game and they care about the community the most.
that's what I meant. I meant like EA has like had that negative reputation of
Yeah.
microtransactions, live
Yep.
service games, and they really have pivoted away from that. And like, besides the abandoning Apex and all the other stuff, like EA's really had a redemption arc, and now if they're going like full on single player games, people are loving that. So they're like, especially because the single player games they have coming out, I can't speak for Need for Speed, but talking about Jedi Fallen Order and Dead Space, no microtransactions, zero. You buy the game and that's it, and it's so refreshing to see.
Surprising.
It's surprising for EA to be like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I like the current EA, and I hope they really do pivot to single player games. I mean, they're going to keep releasing their sports games. They have that fan base they got to appease, and hopefully they continue to get better and really try to innovate on that side. But as a single player fan, I love this new direction.
I've been impressed with their I've been impressed with their single player stuff,
Hmm.
like Dead Space. That was impressive. I think that the graphics were amazing.
Yeah,
I think Jedi Survivor is going to be amazing. Um, I'm just not a single player guy,
yeah,
and I've grown up on EA being a multiplayer developer.
yeah,
So to see them kind of go away from that, I'm just like, dang, I don't want to be stuck with Call of Duty.
yeah. It's gonna be kind of like how Madden is, where there's no competition. When there's no competition, there's no innovation, and
Yeah,
that's
I wouldn't be surprised if EA cut dice at some point and just was like, no more
yeah.
Battlefield.
All right, so moving on to the next story. This one, ugh, speaking of
This is definitely more your thing.
yeah,
I know what
yeah.
you're about to
Speaking of
say.
controversies, the day before, so they just released a. Well, let me set the stage here. So when the first game, when it got revealed, right?
Yeah,
A lot of hype. It was one of the most pre-ordered games on Steam. But there was a growing community of people who thought the game was fake. Now, this is going off of the history of the developer. This is going off of the game looking a lot like a modified Division, and with like elements from Last of Us, like crafting and all that kind of stuff. Like it looked like they
yeah.
ripped the menus straight from those games to make those trailers. And that's only grown when they announced a 8 or 9 month delay because somebody stole the name for their game, which I've never heard of. Why would you not
No,
have that copyright protected before you even started working on it? I don't know.
yeah.
So a lot of sketchy stuff there. So they decided to release a 10-minute gameplay trailer showing off everything from looting to crafting to dismantling, like all the systems in the game, showing off some combat, shooting down zombies. And then they released another short video with one of the developers seemingly playing the game. To all in an effort to prove that this thing is real. They're defending themselves on Twitter saying, this game is real, trust us, whatever. And more people aren't buying it. So
Didn't Steam delist the
Steam
game?
delisted the game too. And
Yeah, it was one of, if not the most wish listed item on Steam for quite a while,
yeah,
and now they took it off.
yeah, it's been delisted. And I think that goes into the whole copyright issue they had.
Yeah,
But I'm like, or that's what they said it was. They said because of the copyright issues, that's why it
sure.
got delisted. Not it wasn't that it got delisted because it's a fake game. But yeah, it's I wouldn't even say this is a divisive thing. I feel like it's like 80 or 90% of people feel like this game is fake at this point. And
What do you think?
man, I don't know, dude. I was before the whole copyright thing, I was like, this game is real because IGN's covering it, GameSpot's covering it, all the media outlets are covering it, right? And they have an image to maintain. They can't be showing off fake shit and promoting fake shit on their websites. We can do that as TikTokers. We can talk about games that might be fake and not really get a lot of blowback for that. We might get a little bit of shit in our comments, but for an IGN to promote that game, and if it turns out to be fake, they just, oh man, it's gonna be huge. So I'm like,
Okay, have you ever seen those like Twitter accounts that do like the spoof sports posts
yeah,
where it looks like it's like Bleacher
ball
Report, but it's
sack,
not Bleacher Report? Yeah, like ball sack
yeah.
sports, right? Like Sports Center and ESPN has picked up stories from ball sack,
Oh yeah, that's true.
right? So it would be a very similar situation. Like if IGN, like we all got duped, like, oh, like wow, how could we be tricked so badly that thinking that this game was real?
Yeah,
I don't think it'd be on IGN. Like, yeah, like I wouldn't use that as like the argument to say this game is real or not real.
yeah. I just feel like, and maybe they're not doing it. Maybe they're just reporting the trailers that are out there. But I feel like, isn't there some kind of can't find the word for it now, where they have to like make sure stuff is real before they should tweet it or make an article about it? Like there's some kind of like, yeah,
Authentication.
like there got to be some kind of systems in place, some checks and balances of like, hey, before we go promoting this game on an article, because I think they actually, I could be wrong, but they might have worked directly with Fantastic on like the last trailer for this game. So like, I don't
Interesting.
know. I feel like this game is,
There's plenty of time that fake news goes around though.
yeah. I don't know.
You know what I mean? And then they have to correct themselves. I saw the trailer and I wasn't super impressed.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed
And I
either.
wasn't super convinced either that it's real.
Yeah,
Like,
it's one of those things where the idea of the game garnered a lot of hype, right? And this
yeah,
post-apocalyptic zombie MMO, you could play with your friends and you could build bases and go around, and like that all sounded exciting. But then the more and more trailers came out, and you started seeing how bland and empty the world looks, and how kind of just boring everything looks. It's like a lot of the hype went away for this game, even for people that do think it's real. Like they're not as hyped now the more they see of this game, you know? And it was supposed to go, come out in March, I think. So
yeah.
it's like it was supposed to come out. So this is the finished game. The only reason the game was delayed, according to the developers, is because of that copyright issue. So this is what the final game is going to look like.
I think the fact that this is the first we're seeing of the game when it was supposed to come out, quote unquote, come out in
Yeah.
March, and the only reason it did get delayed was because of copyright.
Yeah. I don't,
That's suspicious.
that's suspicious. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I was on the side of like thinking it was a real game, but now I'm going to have to go with the crowd and say I think it's fake. I think it's fake.
Yeah,
Sadly, I think it's fake. So, all right, moving on to
we'll see.
the next story. I'll do this one too because I'm the single player guy. Uncharted 5 seemingly revealed on the live from PS5 commercial. We see shots of a let me phrase this perfectly. A
Okay.
blonde girl, right? And I'll say why I emphasize that in a second. A blonde girl exploring a cave and blowing dust off of an ancient artifact. Now, every single media outlet, and then of course me and you, we posted about this on TikTok, and everybody firmly believes that's Cassie, who is Nathan Drake's daughter from Uncharted 4. And we've had rumors and leaks about another Uncharted game in the works. And let me be clear here, it was always rumored and leaked to be made by another studio, not Naughty Dog. So it doesn't matter what Neil Druckmann said about he's not making another Uncharted, because he's being honest there. He's not making another one. That doesn't mean anybody else isn't making one. So I firmly believe that's Uncharted. A lot of people are saying that's Laura Croft. Laura Croft is not a blonde and does not have a build like that. And you're telling me if that is Laura Croft, they're gonna reboot it again and make her blonde this time? Like I don't buy it. I think that's Uncharted 5. I think it's a clear tease for the game. What do you think?
I think you're capping. It's not Uncharted 5.
It
I
has to
know.
be.
I know. No, I know that you want to think that it's Uncharted 5. I get it. The series is over, my friend. It's okay to let it go. Like, it's okay to be done.
Dude. This is
Uh,
Sony we're talking about. They're not gonna let their biggest IP just like go away. You know what I mean? Like
but it's not.
Nathan Drake's story is done. They're not going to go back into that unless they maybe make like a prequel game or something
Well,
like
they
that.
did what, the Legacy Collection or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Like, again, they're good to go on that
Yeah,
series. They've got a lot more to work on.
Nathan Drake's story has ended perfectly on a great note. I don't
Yes.
ever want a Nathan Drake Uncharted game, right? But they fully set up his daughter to be the next major explorer. And this is their biggest IP. They're gonna want to keep making movies with Tom Holland, and they're gonna want to put games alongside that. So Naughty Dog is not making it. Neil Druckmann not making it. This is
We know
yeah,
Naughty Dog is not making it because they literally said
yeah,
days before this, "Hey guys, we are moving on from the Uncharted
yeah.
series." But there's a possibility that they make a Last of Us 3 if the story is good enough. That's what they said.
Yeah. So this game, like I said, from rumors from very strong insiders and leakers, it's being made from a brand new Sony studio in San Diego. San Diego or
Look, I've
Santa
heard the
Monica. Yeah.
rumors. Yes.
So we'll see.
I've heard the rumors. I get it. But I don't know. I just don't see Sony being like, "Oh yeah, we're going to tease this Uncharted 5 in an ad that we're releasing." And it was in there for literally 1 second.
That's what I'm saying. They're teasing it. I'm telling
But
you.
what if it's Uncharted 2 the movie?
Well, but who would that be though? They would jump immediately to his daughter? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
I
Or maybe it's a Tomb Raider movie.
I'll tell you what. If we do not get an Uncharted 5 announcement or just a next Uncharted game this year, I'll buy you any food of your choice the next time we meet after
Oh,
this
I
year.
am 100% winning that.
Okay.
Like, Uncharted 5 is not getting announced. It's not coming. I know you want to wish that it's coming, and I'd be happy for you if it does. But again, We're talking about they have to announce Uncharted 5. This isn't them being like, hey, we're remastering Uncharted 4 or 3 or 1 or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no,
I don't think that they're releasing a new game. I think that they're done. And I don't see another. I mean, maybe they put it with a new studio, but for one of their biggest IPs that is marked as completed, I don't see them handing that off to anybody but Naughty Dog.
yeah, we'll see. I okay, like I said, I'll stand by that bet. Everybody knows. If I'm wrong, I'll buy you the most expensive meal of your life. Okay.
Yes. We're gonna steak dinner,
Oh
baby.
yeah. All right. Moving on to the last story. I'm gonna let you head this up because you know a lot more about it than I do. The whole Halo drama.
Yeah. Have you heard what's going on with Halo?
Bits and pieces, not the whole story. Tell me more.
Okay. First, 343 laid off 95 plus employees with Microsoft's 10,000 employee layoff, which is unfortunate.
Hmm.
But a lot of these employees come from the design team, which worked on the campaign.
Yeah.
Thus, and it's been confirmed now, we are not getting any campaign DLC after being promised.
Yeah.
So there's a big L. On top of that, the bare bones team that they have at 343 will only focus on multiplayer for the foreseeable future. Halo is looking to start from scratch again, and there's a new battle royale in the
Yeah.
works. But again, it's ground up. So again, nothing to do with Infinite, apparently. It almost feels like, as of right now, 343 is saying, yeah, we messed up again. We're gonna put this one on the back burner. There's nothing we can really do,
Hmm.
and we're gonna go work on something else. So Halo is in a very bad state right now. Phil Spencer says that Halo will always be a focus for Xbox as long as Xboxes are being produced.
Yeah.
But in this case, what's going on with 343? What can we expect?
Yeah.
In this case, if you are still playing Halo for some strange reason, they're switching engines to the Unreal Engine. They have a ton of unfinished game modes that likely will never release because all of the original developers and management have left. Again, this is a bare bones team that is only there to be able to really kind of just pick and choose what can be
Yeah.
fixed.
This
It's
is
unfortunate,
yeah.
but Halo is in a very bad state right now. And I don't think a battle royale, whether it's ground up or built off of Infinite, is the way to go.
No.
Battle royale is probably one of, if not the most saturated genre right now. And it's something that nobody really wants to play. Even Fortnite is struggling as one of the biggest battle royales. Warzone 2 is so down bad that people are going back to Modern Warfare 2, which is a rare occurrence for Call of Duty
Yeah.
to get players to go back to their multiplayer.
It's dude, it's like we see more and more battle royales get shut down. We just saw Rumbleverse get shut down. We talked about
Yeah.
Apex Legends Mobile. Like it's just a dying genre in my opinion. So releasing a battle royale, yeah, it might get a little bit of hype for a couple weeks. It's just gonna die out again, and it's unfortunate, man. Like I don't know if Halo can ever be saved. I don't, you know what I mean? Like maybe.
Original Halo will never come back. That's the thing. We've lost the entire team
Mhm.
that has worked on the original Halo. And there were people that went from Bungie to 343 to build the head projects and took massive roles in management.
Yeah,
But literally, the I think the head of one of the heads,
yeah,
he went back to Xbox Studios. But every time he came up and he announced things for Halo, it was always bad news.
yeah,
So, look, Halo isn't going to be saved anytime soon. There's no incentive for you to play Halo.
yeah.
And again, if you are right now, you should find a new game.
And there's the problem with Halo 2 from the outside looking in, because I don't play a lot of the Halo games, unfortunately, is there seems to be a divide of people who want to keep the old, which is what the multiplayer was. It felt very much like
Yeah.
classic Halo. Then there's people who want something new and fresh and think that's the direction that they should be going with the multiplayer so that they can actually compete with the popular games of today. And that's always been like, how do you make that decision when you're developing this game? I couldn't. I wouldn't know where to go. You know, like should I keep it like the old? Should I make it like the new? It doesn't seem like whatever they do. Like I feel like Halo 4, they really try to go new and fresh with it, and it backfired. And then, this Halo, they go, more classic and it dies out after like a month or two. So it's just like
what it feels like is every iteration of 343's Halos is we got to start new, and then we have these new features in there, and then they just scrap it completely.
Yeah.
Instead, what they should be doing is a little bit of things, like a little bit of their stuff from Halo 5. Okay, well, this didn't work, but let's tweak it a bit and then put it in Infinite.
Yeah. That's true.
Let's not completely abandon the old game and completely start fresh, because they're starting fresh and starting fresh and starting fresh and starting fresh. You can't put a fresh coat of paint over something and just expect it to be fixed.
Yep. 100%.
Doesn't work. You know what I mean? I think about Phil Spencer's comments recently of Halo is one of our most important franchises and will continue to be supported and be our focus as long as Xbox is being produced,
That's all.
as almost
It's
bullshit.
PR speak. It's just
Yeah.
that's all it is. He has to back his developers. He has to. You know what I mean? And but it's just like it's not working. And there is an interesting idea. And as a Halo fan, I want to get your thought on this. Ryan McCaffrey from IGN tweeted out, "What if id Software made the next Halo game? They own id Software now through owning Bethesda. How would you feel if the makers of Doom made the next Halo?"
Anything is better than 343 right now. So yeah, take it and run.
Yeah.
But again, you got to be able to build off of what you've been able to do previously. You can't just start a new storyline or have the features that were kind of working or you were working on before just completely abandoned in the next game. Like, you have to be able to build off of something.
Yep.
And I truly believe that one of Microsoft's or the Xbox's biggest mistakes with their exclusives and first party games is handing Halo off.
Yeah.
You're reaching a peak level, an all-time greats in gaming. It'd be like if Activision was just like, hey, we want to give Call of Duty over to Blizzard to work on
Yeah.
after some of their best titles. You know what I mean? It didn't make sense to be able to say, yeah, we're gonna have a new studio in-house take over our biggest franchise ever. And then the first one is like, we don't really like this. And then they were like, try again. No, try again. And then they're like, we don't like this one either. And they're like, okay, just give them what Bungie did.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool, but like, where's the new stuff? And then the new stuff comes and they're like, you aren't giving us anything.
Yeah.
Like, again, you're not adapting with the times. Like, with the live service game, you have to release content. Again, no content with this game. So
I feel like that
it's down bad.
there's a point to speak there of like that's part of the issue too, is that this game, even when it launched, even after being delayed for a long time, it still wasn't ready, right? And every time they released new content for it, because I was there at the start, it was so minor, so few things added to the game. It was like, hey, here's a new mode you could check out, and here's a couple skins or whatever, and like that was it.
Yeah.
And that would be it after like 3 months. I'm like, really? Like, this is all the content you guys have? No, man. Like, it should have had that game cooking in the oven for a while with stuff to release in the future, like near ready and done, so that hey, Halo Infinite releases, it's great, people are playing it. 3 months later, you get the battle royale mode because there probably was a window in there where they would have worked. Then you got that. Then 3 years later, maybe you get Forge, that pops off. Then 3 months later, you get a Tarkov like mode. Like, if it got that kind of support, this would be a whole different story. But this studio does not know how to handle a live service game, and it showed.
No. And they don't know how to handle a single player game,
Yeah.
clearly, because they're not pushing DLC.
Mhm.
They left the Infinite game on a cliffhanger. Again, what are you doing? What is going on? Like, if I were to ask you, would you say that Master Chief is one of the most iconic characters in gaming?
He's on the Mount Rushmore instantly.
Yeah. And Microsoft is about to ruin him.
Yep.
Between Halo Infinite and how horrible this has been, and how bad the Halo TV show was,
Mm.
Master Chief is about to be removed
Yeah.
from the Mount Rushmore.
If I'm Phil Spencer, I'm gonna say, look, I'm putting a call out there to every studio head. I want to hear your best pitches for Halo, and then whatever studio has the best pitch for both single player and multiplayer, congratulations, I'm handing you the Halo IP. 343 will be there to support you with like assets or whatever else you need. And
Well, that's the rumors that we got.
Yeah.
And the fact that 343's head essentially has to come out and be like, hey, no, we're still gonna develop those. Don't worry, guys. And then the fact that one, you have to come out and say that, already says that your game is in a horrible spot, and it's no surprise. But even the announcement felt
Yeah. Yeah.
unfinished.
It's like,
To say,
how would you feel if you made a terrible game and then rumors came out saying you're no longer going to be involved with that series? And then you come out and you're like, no, guys, those are false. Don't worry. We're going to keep making Halos. And everybody's just bummed out after you say that. Like,
yeah.
I think must feel like
And not only
shit.
that, you don't give us
Yeah.
any acknowledgement
Yeah.
of any of our concerns of being like, there's no content, nothing's happening, there are all these bugs, what's going on? And they're just like, don't worry, guys, we're still making it.
Yeah. So
We don't care.
don't.
We as a player, I don't want you to make the game anymore. I would argue that once the news broke, or the rumor broke, that 343 was going to be a support studio for Halo, and they were going to hand off the reins, just like you were saying just a second ago.
Yeah.
Everyone was ecstatic. They were like, oh my gosh, finally something fresh and new, and maybe somebody will save Halo. I think that it was really, really smart of Sony to acquire Bungie,
Yeah.
not for the fact of like Destiny or anything else, but the fact that Microsoft can't
Yeah. Microsoft.
engage.
Yeah. Microsoft can't do the obvious thing of just getting Bungie back and having them make Halo. They can't do that anymore. That option is off the table. They could get talent from that studio.
It was very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Very smart. And like it goes into the whole push that Sony's doing into the multiplayer space. And they have the perfect studio to help support with that. And that was a smart decision. Like I never looked at the Bungie acquisition as like, oh, cool. Now every Bungie game in the future is going to be PlayStation exclusive. I knew that wouldn't happen. I looked at it like Sony looked at it when they acquired them of like, we got this studio that knows how to make live action, that knows how to make multiplayer, and they could support us in this initiative that we're going to push full stop, starting with the Last of Us Factions game. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was a very smart move by them, and I hope Halo gets saved one day, but I'm not holding my breath. Like I said, Phil has to come to the table and say, "Give me your best pitch," and hand the franchise to that studio. That's the only way this gets fixed. It has to be like a DCU, like what we're seeing with James Gunn, and like you know what I mean? Because I'm sure,
Even then,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big. We don't really talk about movies, but DC is still screwed.
You think so?
Yeah, bro. Marvel has a chokehold, and then it's kind of like a battle royale. Again, it's like Fortnite who owns the space right now,
Yeah.
and then you've got like all these other developers who are like, hey, like we'll fix our game, and people are like, nah, battle royales are boring. Like superhero movies like are out overplayed. Like there's just too much going on.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
It's rough. All right, so you got anything else? I think that'll do it for this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, actually, I did want to talk about one thing. Xbox prices are going up. Actually, went up in Japan.
Did they?
Not sure if you saw that headline. Yeah. So they went up. Xbox Series X and Series S both went up, which could mean that we're going to see a price increase coming soon.
It's odd that they did that in Japan because Japan has been their worst territory. Japan has been
as of recently though, they've had really like good success in Japan.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of success with the Series S because of the affordable price.
That's the point I'm making is like in the past, they've had terrible luck in Japan, terrible sales. It's been their worst territory. And now that they have some like positive momentum over there, they're going to raise the prices. I don't know if that's the best like territory to start with, you know, maybe start with like Brazil or something like everybody else does, you know, which sucks. Sorry, Brazil fans. I hate that you guys have to deal with those high prices, but yeah, it's just, you know.
Yeah, it might be like PlayStation where literally every country other than the US sees a price increase.
The US will be the last one because you know how we are over here. Whenever prices go up, there's outrage. So this is the last territory.
You're going to have a bunch of crybabies.
Yeah, that would ever get a price hike for Xboxes or PlayStations. Like, you know what I mean? And if anybody does it first, it probably would be Sony to raise the price here first. And then Xbox would follow suit. So yeah, that's crazy. Well, we expected this because there was rumors of like Xbox prices going up, Game Pass going up all this year, and now
I would honestly rather see console prices go up over Game Pass prices. Yeah. That's just me though.
But then we've seen they're gonna skip E3 because of not having marketing budget.
Oh yeah.
And like, do you think this all ties to the Activision acquisition? Like, is their money strapped because of that? Like.
The console price increase, no.
Yeah.
The marketing budget being cut, absolutely. Yeah. But we also got to remember, E3's last big event was like 2019 before all these studios held their own events. But then once COVID hit, they were all like, oh, we can kind of do this on our own. We don't need to wait for E3 or any of these big events. Yeah. And now they're like, well, if we're not going to announce anything and we don't really need to have a presence, why would we go? So it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense, but at the same time, they're just like, yeah, let's cut all this budget and try and save as much money for the Activision deal because they're like, we don't know how much money we'll be able to make. It's probably gonna be less than last year.
Funny little inside story for those watching between like me and Dalton and the rest of our creator crew. We plan on going to every gaming event this year, and we
Yeah.
were worried about E3 and Summer Games Fest because we thought there was going to be on the same week. We were like, how do we choose which one to go to? And then that news came out of Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo are not going to E3, and that made everything very easy. Okay, Summer Games Fest it is. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like,
If they're at the same time, I still
yeah,
want to go to E3.
yeah,
If
definitely.
they're at different times,
They
absolutely.
said E3, from what some of the media outlets are saying, they're saying E3 is
We
good.
have a date.
Huh?
I think we have a date.
Well, I know
I'm looking.
one of them is June 8th. I don't know if E3 got a date yet.
No, Summer Games Fest is June 8th.
Yeah.
E3 doesn't have a date.
Yeah. So a couple of media outlets were saying that the E3 this year is probably going to be more in line with what we saw with Gamescom last year. So that scale of a show, which wasn't bad, but it's certainly like not amazing. So I feel like E3 used to be the top dog, used to be the show of shows, used to be where you see
Oh yeah.
all the biggest announcements. And over the last course, the course of the last couple of years, that's transitioned to the Game Awards. The Game Awards is now that. The Game Awards is now where you get all the banger news. And you do get some cool big announcements in the summertime, but those are going to be with Summer Games Fest, which is another Jeff Keighley joint, your twin brother. So like, you know what I mean? Like they have.
Well, the way that it used to be was like CES, you would get all of the console announcements.
Yeah.
You would get, here's the newest and greatest thing that we're developing. And you would see the Xbox or the new thing that they're dropping, whatever it was. And then you would wait a couple months, 6 months, and then you would get all the games that would be coming for that system.
Mm-hmm.
Times are very different though.
Yeah.
They literally just do all this marketing on their own because they have such a big platform to be able to do it wherever they want. And they know people will listen and the media outlets will still cover it.
Yeah. It's like the power of, I hate it, but the power of Twitter, man, Twitter posts and blog posts, like that's become the norm for, game announcements and game reveals. And,
Like you said, that's how Rockstar is going to reveal GTA 6.
it's exactly how Rockstar's going to reveal it. And people who still like say, oh, it's going to be at E3, it's going to be Game Awards. No Rockstar game has ever, besides Agent, which never came out, besides Agent, no Rockstar game has ever been revealed at a major event like that. I don't know why people keep saying it's going to be the next Sony event. It's going to be at the next. No,
if anything, it would be a
it
Sony
would be a
event.
Sony event
like
because they have that partnership now. But like, it's
Yeah.
going to be a Twitter blog post and it's going to be a trailer and it's going to get hundreds of millions of views. So they're not worried.
You think it'll leak first?
It could, but if it leaks again, it's Rockstar's doing, like they're just doing it on purpose to build hype.
You think Rockstar is the one leaking their own stuff?
Well, don't you know the popular theory for like movies and games where
Yeah, I know that. But what I'm saying is, you think Rockstar would leak GTA 6 before Rockstar could get to show
I don't think
GTA
they,
6?
so here's how I think they would go. I think they would leak the timing of the trailer release, or they would leak like a few details.
Oh, yeah.
Like a few details out there, like
I'm talking about the actual trailer, though.
yeah, no, the actual trailer, no. The actual trailer, I feel like it's gonna get revealed by them, but I feel like a cool new gameplay feature or two might leak ahead of time. And then when people see the trailer and see those features in there, like that Leonardo DiCaprio, that hey, like you're gonna have that moment that's gonna build a lot of hype. And we've seen that all the time. Like there's definitely in this industry manufactured leaks by developers. Like we've seen
100% in
time and time
every
again.
industry. Yeah. Yes. Again, my thing was like, I don't think we're gonna see the trailer before Rockstar shows us the trailer.
Yeah. You remember?
That's the kind of leak I was talking about.
Do you remember Assassin's Creed used to leak every single year? And like,
there
was times where like, yeah, the guy was just working on the game on the airplane, and the person behind him like was able to get snapshots of like that. How does that fucking happen? Like,
doesn't happen like that.
I mean, like, come on.
Ubisoft was out there.
Ubisoft was notorious, and they still do it. They still leak their own. They leak their own shit. All the leaks you see from Ubisoft is they're doing. It's all manufactured.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But yeah.
Hey, we got a GTA 6 leak this week, so
yeah. Let's hope.
Could be the start to something great.
Let's hope, guys, we get an announcement or a trailer for this investment call coming this week. A lot of hype around GTA 6. Hopefully we don't got to wait too much long for that. So thank you guys for tuning in to another podcast, and we'll definitely see you again Next week, Tuesday at noon. We're gonna stick to it.
Yes. See you Tuesday noon. Peace.
Later.